Hi, my name is Ashley Reeves. In this video, I'm going to give you some tips for getting better at skating on your snowboard. If this is your first time here and you're interested in snowboarding tips and tutorials aimed at beginner and intermediate riders or women's gear reviews, then be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Skating is a necessary beginner skill as you need it to move through lift lines and to get on and off lifts. But it's also useful to take some time to improve your skating beyond this basic level. There are lots of situations on the mountain where skating is the quickest way to get around. Moving between lifts and runs, or in flat areas if you don't have enough speed and you get stuck. Skating in these situations is much faster than unstrapping, walking, and strapping back in. Or if you're moving from one lift to a slightly lower lift, just skating down is quicker than strapping in, riding down, and then unstrapping again for the next lift. Here are 5 tips to help you improve your skating so you can spend less time on the mountain going from point A to point B and more time snowboarding. Experiment with different back foot positioning. The most common way to place your back foot when skating is right up against the inside of the back binding. This is close to your actual riding position, which makes it comfortable. Plus, you can get some added stability by pressing against the binding, which can be helpful if you have problems with your foot slipping around. However, I recommend experimenting to see what you find easiest and most comfortable. Try moving your foot to the center of your board and up against your front binding. I recently started putting my foot against my front binding, and I actually feel like it gives me more leverage and stability to have it next to my foot that's strapped in. The same tip applies when it comes to pushing. Experiment pushing with your foot behind your board and in front of your board. For me, it feels a bit awkward to push from in front, which you can probably tell by this video. So I usually push from behind my board. But this varies from person to person, so try both and see what's most comfortable for you and go with that. Move your back foot around while skating. This is somewhat related to the first tip, but even if you find a preferable positioning for your back foot, don't feel like you need to keep it there stationary while you're skating. It's super helpful to move your foot around, as I'm doing here in this clip. For example, when turning toe side, it's much easier if you bring your back foot forward so you have your toes a bit off the front edge of your board. This allows you to drag your toes in the snow, which is kind of like getting on your toe edge. The same thing applies for when you want to stop on your toes. For turning or stopping heel side, moving your foot back makes it easier as you can drag your heel in the snow. Get on an edge. It's easier to keep your balance and to have better control over your board if you are slightly on an edge, especially if you're skating at a decent speed. Just like when you're fully strapped in, being completely flat base can be unstable, as your board can slide around and you can catch an edge unexpectedly. So if you're skating downhill, especially with some speed, it helps to be a bit on your edge, and moving that back foot around can help you easily get on either your heel or your toe edge. Avoid slipping. If you have issues with your foot sliding or slipping around, there are several things you could do. First, moving your back foot could help you find more stability. Pressing your foot against either your back binding or your front binding, or having your toes or heel a bit off the edge of your board usually can provide better stability than keeping your foot in the center of your board. Also, getting any excess snow off your board before you start skating can help reduce slipping. If you still have some issues with this, you might try a stomp pad or grip tape for your back foot. An alternative option I've heard a couple people mention before is surf wax. Practice. The best way to improve your skating is to spend more time doing it. Avoid unstrapping and walking, or strapping in and riding down to a really close lower lift. Instead, make yourself skate there. The more you do this, the easier and more comfortable it'll get. If an area seems a bit too steep to skate, it can help to just leaf down or side slip until you reach a point where you're down far enough to feel comfortable straightening your board out. You also might try one-footing a few easy runs. This can allow you to practice picking up some speed, turning toe side and heel side, and stopping on your heels and toes. I hope you found these tips helpful. Let me know in the comments below if you have any issues when skating that I haven't addressed, or if you have other tips that I've left out. Also, let me know what you'd like to see in future videos, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.